Well, hello, gentlemen. Welcome to this week's live Q&A in my lingerie. I'm Arica Angelo. Super glad to have you guys here. And I am coming here. I'm showing up right now from Texas. I am with my family and it is just so nice to ah be back home, see the family, just that southern hospitality where everyone's nice and they talk to you. It's just so good to be back in the US of A. So welcome here. I'm really excited to talk about this subject of, why is it that women, why they like that bad boy image in men? Because I think a lot of time, or I know a lot of times, a lot of guys just go, what is the deal? Why do these bad guys seem to get the girls? What is that about? So we're going to talk about that. Excuse me. I do have some allergy issues here, so I'm a little bit congested, but thank you guys so much for being here. So and I can't wait to answer your questions after we talk about this. I'm so excited to say that, to address those. So why do women like men with a bad boy image? Why is that? Well, here's the thing. The bad boy, without saying anything, he tends to intimate, I don't give a F. I don't give an F. I'm going to do what I want to do. And so women are drawn to that because why? There's a sense of independence, there's a sense of freedom, and there's a sense of confidence that gets translated in that without him even saying a word, he does that, you know? And so he kind of shows the world that I'm going to do life on my own terms. Here's the thing. As human beings, we all want to do life on our own terms. Now, granted, most of us get kind of hoodwinked and we get a part of systems and we just think that, oh, life has to be this way. Like we get caught in the matrix. It's like, oh, I gotta buy the mortgage. I've gotta do this and I gotta do that. And so it's like now I'm living a world that other people say I have to live. And it's not ultimately the world you want to be living in. So when it comes to freedom, we all crave to be free. I mean, if anyone said to me, I don't want to be free, I'd be like, you're a damn lie. Like everyone wants to be free. You pull someone in a pool or in a lake and you start pulling them from the feet. What are they going to do? They're going to kick to be free. So the bad boy image, he tends to communicate like, I'm doing life on my own terms. And so when a woman sees that, it's stimulating. There's something about that that's masculine. There's something about that that's raw. Now, let me tell you the flip side of when a guy is an actual bad guy. Then when he becomes emotionally abusive and he's not showing up for her heart and he's selfish and all these other things, that's the unfortunate side. That's the unevolved male. That's a guy who's not done any work to evolve himself. He's very entitled and just wants life to just be on his own terms. So this is where the girls get a bit frustrated. So how can you do both? How can you be, the man who has a bad boy image, but is actually a good guy? You're not an asshole. Like, how do you do both of them? I like this. Duckalux just said, got to put on my glasses when I start reading these. You know what's up. He says, I had a lot of confidence normally and sexually lasted like an hour and women were drawn to me and I was a good guy. I completely agree with you. I'm not, by any means, I'm not saying that you have to be a bad guy. That's not what this video is about. We're just answering the question, which is, why do women like these guys? But you just nailed it right there. It's that confidence. It's that state of like, I'm in charge. I am running my own life. And women like that. They like that sense of independence that they feel from that kind of man. Because inherently when we see someone free, it's like why you listen to gurus, it's like let's take Tony Robbins. He did a Netflix called I'm Not Your Guru. Well, let's take Tony Robbins, for example, when, we listen to him because he's experienced a level of freedom and we follow that. We pay lots of money for that. Why? Because we want that opportunity to be free ourselves. So when she sees a bad guy and he's confident and he's independent, she's like, oh, I want some of that. Oh, if I get around him, maybe I'll feel that sense of wildness, freedom, adventure. So to some degree, I would even go as far to say, dare I say, that the bad boy image inspires her, that he is going to, here's the thing, he is going to take her on a wild ride. That's the other thing. He's going to take her on an adventure. Whereas I don't want to say the good guy, because this is obviously, I want to encourage you guys to always be a good man, but let's say the nice guy. Let's use that terminology. The nice guy tends to just say, I'm just going to do whatever I can to make you happy. And she's like, ew, like, I'm still trying to figure that out for myself. That's a journey I'm going on. What else can you bring to the table? You know what I'm saying? So the bad guy, he offers her like that sense of like freedom. He's independent, he's confident, but he also offers her like a sense of an unknown adventure. And that's the challenging thing. That's where women get themselves in trouble, is because the bad guy, typically that unknown part is what gets her in trouble, because he doesn't communicate his emotions. He doesn't show up for her heart. He doesn't send her very loving messages consistently. That's where it starts taking a toll on her, and she starts going, ouch, like this isn't all that I thought it was cracked up to be. I gotta have some tea, guys. I'm super congested. That helps. Okay, so let's read your comments. I love when you guys comment, by the way, because it makes it more conversational, and that's the whole point of you guys being here. Is the whole point of this live Q&A is to make it conversational. So I just love when you guys write in the chat box. So let's answer some of these questions, and I'm curious your feedback. Here's my question to you guys that you can let me know in the chat box. Have you ever been picked over? Have you been perceived as the nice guy, or been dealt with as if you were the nice guy? And she went with a bad boy. I'm very curious if any of you have had that experience. So Ninja Wolf says, do every woman prefer men with brains over men with bronze? Every woman is different. Everyone has their own need for survival. So I'd say if she comes from a background of like there was plenty of bronze, but there's no brains, she might be gravitated to men more brains because there's a deficit there. Or if a man has more brains, but he has no brawn, and she comes from a place where she didn't feel safe in life, maybe she's going to treasure a guy who has more muscles. It just depends on what a woman's need is. And typically we formulate our needs out of trauma, out of something that we don't have. I would like to say that women often they either feel that they can have both, or they can say, I'm more secure in myself. I've healed through my stuff. If he has, one over the other, like, doesn't matter. I just want the guy. I have a hard time believing that a woman would not want guy with some kind of brains. I mean, you got to have brains to make it in this world. So I hope that answered your question, Ninja Wolf. And thank you for being here, my darling. Anthony says, hi, Erica, looking sexy as hell as usual. Well, thank you, Anthony. Brandon Bowen says, hi, my darling. Brandon is one of my emotional warriors. Ben Q, hello, my darling. Whoops, and it just jumped. Adrian, good evening, Erica. Good evening. It's my afternoon now that I'm in Texas, but good evening to you, my darling. Where are you from? Hello, Katrina. We have a girl. We have a girl here. Woohoo! Welcome, a lady. We always like when ladies come here. Dukalux. Yes, you can. Obviously, maybe it's not obvious. I'm not going to say it. I retract that. Yes, you can experience those things with a good guy. Absolutely. It's the nice guy syndrome of always appeasing a woman. That's what repels women, because he doesn't have a sense of self and he's relying on her to derive his value. Chicago P says dogs like dogs, cats like cats. I don't understand that. You're gonna have to explain that one to me. Hello, Jataro5181. Hello. Thank you so much for being here, my darling. Ronak. I love Ronak. I promise I really owe you an email. I'm so overdue with that. And he says, hello, Miss Angelo. What I am hearing that we as men have to go on adventures and invite women on instead of making a woman our adventure. Ronak, you know that's the truth. Ronak has done a lot of work on himself. And so Ronak has a really sharp toolbox when it comes to women. That's exactly what I'm saying is just that. Yes, women want to be taken on a ride. They want that sense of adventure. And that's also, I'm so glad that you said that. That's also the kind of allure of the bad guy, is that he is going to take her on an adventure and it's not solely about her. The challenge is when it's a bad guy is that she never becomes a part of his thought process because he's too selfish or too consumed with his hurt to ever see her. And so that becomes a real challenge. But yes, in terms of a good guy, to speak to Duckalux, absolutely, a good guy can be a good man and be on an adventure and say, hey, girl, do you want to come along for the ride? You don't have to be a bad guy to do that. Ducklux says, because I am just myself, not labeling myself, but if I was labeling myself, I would say I'm good. Absolutely. Like that's the beauty of humanity, is wanting to become a better person. Let's see what Katrina has to say. I always love when women bring input because it's just nice. Katrina says, the idea that the guy is going to go places and wants you to go along for the ride. Boom, out of another woman's mouth. Absolutely. Um, I say this in all of my videos to you guys. It's like women want to know that you are going somewhere, that you have some drive, you have purpose, you have ambition, you have things that make you want to get out of bed in the morning. Like, yes, women crave that. And yes, she wants to be a part of that adventure. And Nilanjan says, Erica's drinking coffee. I love coffee, but I'm not. I'm drinking lemon ginger tea and honey to help with my chest because I've got allergies here in Texas. And the nice thing is I keep a lot of my stuff stored at my parents', which I will be moving to a storage facility. But one thing that always stays with me is my Audrey Hepburn mug, because I am pretty obsessed with her. Joe K says, yeah, women want bad boys, but they can't change them. This is really good. I don't know why YouTube hid your comment. He says, yeah, women want bad boys, but they can't change them. So they settle and marry beta males whom they are not sexually attracted to. That is a mouthful. And I say that is actually what does happen. And it's unfortunate. And what happens is women don't realize that they can have both, that they can have a man that they're very sexually attracted to, but also can be very nurturing to her heart, but who can also challenge her. Like, it's one thing that I will say that maybe women don't express enough, but yes, we want a man to challenge us. That is part of the adventure. That's part of the emotional adventure, is when a man challenges us on our stuff and says, hey, you can do better than this. Why are you showing up this way? But yes, it's not either or. You can have that guy that is inspired and is on an adventure and takes you on an adventure, but is also nurturing and loving to your heart. And yeah, the beta males that you're referring to are typically the safe guys that end up boring her to tears because he doesn't ever want to rock the boat. But that's another video. Let's see what Ninja Wolf says. No, that's not going to work. Women only like men who aren't being so jealous, stupid, and immature. A disgusting negative that can only turn them off. Same goes for the men. Okay. James Dahlia, y'all out? Not that I know of. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Okay. Frank M says he is picked over for being the nice guy a lot. Okay. So Frank, that is the thing that I would really encourage you to be open to shift in your life, because that's not a state that you have to stay in, the perpetual nice guy. I hope that you come to my channel a lot because I really specifically help men with this sort of journey. And typically, when a guy's a nice guy, it's a guy who doesn't have a lot of needs, and nor does he advocate for those needs. And so, and like to speak to what Ronak was saying, he makes the adventure about the woman as opposed to being on his own adventure. I hope that that supports you. Katrina says, yeah, I agree. Every woman has different needs for sure. Adrian says, yes, Angelo. Arica Angelo. Sadly, sometimes I just came up with being a good guy, but thanks to rejection, it helps to become a bad guy. For one time, it happened, but the way I responded to that rejection got me her. Yeah, and here's the thing. Let me have another sip of tea, guys. When you put your foot down with a woman, when you stand up to a woman, when you don't take her shit, that doesn't make you a bad guy. It makes you a guy with needs and balls and a voice. So let's just differentiate. Like, a bad guy is typically a guy who is on his own adventure, but maybe he's not very supportive to her emotions and her heart and who she's evolving to become. But you can be a good guy, still be on an adventure, and not put up with women's shit. That doesn't make you a bad guy. AOHT06 says, yeah, she stopped dating me and said she had all these other guys who hit her up and she wanted to talk to. Didn't stop her from asking me to help her move a few months later. Yeah, women will do that to the nice guys. It's like, I won't have sex with you. I won't go on dates with you. I'll never introduce you to my friends. But when I need you, I expect you to show up. And as a good guy, not a nice guy, as my emotional warriors, you say, honey, call a mover because I am not your man. So figure it out for yourself, sister. Ninja Wolf says, you definitely welcome Erica. Thank you, Charlie. Adrian says he is from, wow, Nambia, Southwest Africa. Oh my God, welcome. That is so incredible. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really honored to have you here. Thank you for your presence. Akshay Jad, I'm sorry, I'm butchering your names, guys. Akshay Jadiv says, bad is better. Your thought? I don't think that bad is better. I think that bad men internally are actually very scared guys who are very afraid of getting hurt, who put on a show that nothing bothers them, but I think that they're very lonely men internally. And I think they never get the love and satisfaction that they want out of a woman in a relationship because they're constantly keeping up a wall, constantly playing with pretenses. So I think that the bad guy image can really hurt men and women in the long run. Katrina, I don't know about the bad guy, but more like a guy who has a plan and likes to lead. Absolutely. Women, we want to know, where are you going? Let's go somewhere together. The music critic, what do women bring to the table? Absolutely. I know you guys get a bit frustrated with me sometimes, but this channel is to support men, to help men on their journey of women. So I don't talk about like what women should be doing because that's not my clientele. I don't work with women. But what women are meant to bring to the table, Katrina says, women are meant to share the experience and be excited with the experience. Yeah. Like, here's the thing. Going on an adventure just by yourself isn't as rewarding, but having someone to share that with makes it feel really fulfilling. It's like, you can go and I talk to a lot of my friends who are like me, who are digital nomads, and we travel a lot. It's like, you can go to a beautiful place and enjoy it and appreciate it, but what brings it to another level is when you can share that with someone. It's more exciting to share that moment with them. And so if a guy's just on an adventure but he doesn't have a beauty to share that with, it's like it kind of gets boring after a while. I'm pretty lonely. But here's the thing, I think that healthy women also bring, I think that they bring a lot of compassion. I think they bring a lot of nurture. I think a lot of internal needs that a man has that he will never voice. He'll never address. He may even be devoid of realizing that they're there. Is, I think, a woman on a very internal level can really champion her man. She can heal her man. She can show her man compassion. She can be supportive to her man. Those are just some of the things that she can bring to the table, if that answers your question. Ham I am. I have been told I'm a bad boy. It seems to work. My question back to you is, to what extent are you actually, if that is you, and we have to clarify like what you mean. If you are a bad boy, like, are all your needs getting met? Okay, yeah, you may be able to to have sex. Okay, you're not a caveman. You have other needs. Are those other needs getting met? Are you able to let other people in and love you and see you and support you and be on an adventure with you? Are you able to do that? Ninja Wolf says, Texas ain't nothing to mess with. That's true, boy. That is true. AOHT. Let me get. I lost you there. Is having a standard 9 to 5 that pays good money considered drive and ambition? Seems like in the past that was enough, but in social media era, women seem to get bored with that. Here's the thing. I mean, having a 9 to 5, that does create consistency for her life. But what are you doing outside of that? Like, what do you have? Any other pursuits? Do you want to travel? Is there a cause that you fight for? Are there extracurricular activities? Like, are you part of a gym with a community, that you really thrive to be a part of? Like, what are you doing that makes you excited and alive? Yes, a 9 to 5 pays the bills and it creates stability in your life and perhaps hers. But where's the adventure in your life? That's what she wants to know. I'm in need of your Emotional Warrior series. Absolutely. Please go to attractandseduceher.com, attractandseduceher.com, and you can find it right there, my darling. Frank M. I'm here a lot, just barely can catch you on live. Okay, look up my nice guy videos and see if that really supports you. Also, you guys, the funny thing about the bad guy is he, like, if you've ever watched a video about the honey badger doesn't give a shit. The honey badger doesn't give a damn. The bad boy's also gonna say things to her because he just doesn't care. And so he's gonna say those flirty things. He's gonna say those sexual things to her. And he's gonna get away with it because he says it so damn confidently. But if you're like, I don't want to become a bad guy to have to say that, then I really encourage you to get my Compliments Bible, because that's going to tell you exactly what to say to women. And then I even do an instructional video on how to communicate that with her. What kind of tonality? How should you communicate with your body language? Where is it a question and where is it just a statement? So make sure that you get the Compliments Bible. It's only like $39.90. It's worth every penny. Mark Wheeler says, I'm stuck on this girl I met online. She returned home. She's in military. So guess not her say what to do. I'm not really sure what you're asking, babe. Can you rephrase that? Derek says, women go for bad boys in order to change them to nice guys. They need to release the loose emotional baggage in their lives. There may be a degree of truth to that, but ultimately, the bad guy doesn't create a lot of opportunity for her to facilitate any change. And she would do much better just investing that time into herself so that she doesn't need to do that for another man. Frank, and we all fall victim to perspective. Most of the women that I meet have a negative perspective of nice guys versus bad boys. Yes, but there's also the things where the nice guy doesn't show up for himself, and nobody wants that. Like, you can't choose someone else if you're constantly not choosing yourself. Like, how can you give away something that you don't have? How can you give away something that you're not willing to give yourself? And I think women sense the lack of integrity with that when it comes to the nice guy. She feels like he's not in integrity with herself. And that creates question marks and it creates uncertainty for her. And so she doesn't want to wholeheartedly trust you in that process because you don't trust yourself and you haven't chosen yourself. Good morning from California. Thank you, Derek. AOHT says, yes, luckily I was smart enough to tell her I couldn't help her move. Good for you. Ronak says, when you draw boundaries with a woman, it makes you an authentic guy than a bad guy. Arica helped me a lot on creating my boundaries with people. Yes, because you're valuable and you matter. And those boundaries communicate that. I'm so glad. And it's so true. It's like women, I can get kind of shocked by a guy who has boundaries. And that's something I really want to do is I want to create a course about boundaries. I really do, because that's a common question. But yes, women want that guy who has boundaries because when a person has boundaries, that communicates self-worth. Self-worth translates as confidence. Confidence translates as sexual attraction. I hope you caught all of that. Chris Lesser, hi, Arica. Hello, my darling. Thank you for being here. Another one of my emotional warriors. Adrian says, Arica, is it true that girls nowadays look at the legs? Because I hear everyone say girls are now checking the legs and ass. Yeah, I think that women, everyone has their own thing, but yeah, women do check out legs because I think a lot of men talk about it in the gym, like guys who spend hours building up their chest and then they say you look down below and they have like chicken legs. So I think women are, because I don't think we ever thought about that stuff before, but I think now women are like, oh, wait, maybe there's something to that. Michael, you have a great day too. Ricky says, I've been listening to you and honey, but what if you're totally blind? I had it. Would you do these things? I'm not really sure what you're saying, babe. Can you rephrase that? Ash K, I encourage you to watch this video because we're wrapping things up. I encourage you to watch this video from the beginning because I go into exactly what a bad guy or perceived bad guy is to a woman. So make sure that you watch the beginning of this. Excuse me. Hamed says, you are not only bound to the people you like or love, your bondage to those you dislike or hate is much deeper. Explain this quote. Anything that you put a tremendous amount of energy on is going to have a larger influence, a larger impact on you. So if you are very focused on the things that you dislike, the things that you hate, that is going to have more of a stronghold over your life because that is where you are placing your energy. Cole Keller says, what a topic. I'm glad you guys are liking this. Mike Barnholden says, hello, Arica. I'm stuck and lost in my life. How can I get my life back and start attracting women for possible dating? I really would encourage your situation that you would start with my Emotional Warrior program. If you go to attractandseducer.com, I think that that's a great start for someone who's really lost in their life. I also do a group coaching around that program, but you do have to apply for that. And you can also find out about my value group coaching through attractandseducer.com. Tuning in from Canada, welcome. Aren't you guys still in really a strong lockdown? Yeah. Let's see here. This is great. Alika says, I'm adventurous, risk adverse. She's the opposite. She loves wild celebrities like Jason Momoa. When I act that way, she tries to reel me in. I ask why the contradiction. She says, he's not her man. Listen, at the end of the day, a woman can try to reel you in, but when a guy is true to himself and he's like, woman, this is me. You got to let me be me, and this is how I'm going to do me. She, in the long run, though she may protest, though she must protest in the get-go, In the long term, she will respect you. Okay. Giota Short says, what do you think about scent fragrances and the impressionalities? I think it's very important. And I should do a whole video on this because there are certain colognes that I always recommend to my clients. And I think colognes really stimulate attraction. They facilitate connection. So it's very important. I need to do a video on that. I'm going to have to wrap this up. I'm going to wrap it up with Steve's question. Steve Grady, he says, do women tend to see nice guys as less masculine, even if there's no logical reading for that? Bad boyism is likewise seen as more masculine, but again, with reason. That's such a great question. And I want to answer that before I wrap it up. Just don't forget that the Compliments Bible is in the chat section to help you guys feel more confident. You know, the thing is the bad boy's always going to say whatever he wants to a woman in terms of those sexual comments, the flirtiness. He just doesn't care. And so if you're like, that's not natural for me, make sure that you get the Compliments Bible. It'll totally support you in that journey of feeling very confident in what to say. And then you have to execute and say it. But I want to answer this question because it's really, really good. Does a woman perceive a nice guy as less masculine? Yes, she does. And the reason why is he's not being true to his masculinity by not being true to himself. Because he makes his world revolve around her, she senses the lack of integrity within himself. She realizes this guy's not saying what he means and means what he says. He doesn't do the things that he wants to do. It's all about me and making me happy. And she inherently knows on the inside that that is not sustainable. And if it is not sustainable, he can't protect her. He can't save her. He can't provide for her because he's unable to do the right things that sustain himself. So yes, the more integrity you are with yourself and saying the things that you mean, going the places you want to go, doing the things you want to do, that is a man who's in integrity with himself. And that's the kind of masculinity that she can trust. In terms of bad boyism, is it likewise seen as more masculine, but again, within reason? I would really like to address it. That's such a great question. I think that masculinity is going through a huge overhaul. I feel like with my work, I feel like I'm one of the big catalysts, and there are other people in the world who are giving voice to this. I think that the old model of the masculine man who's detached, who is just the provider, who doesn't have emotional needs, that never has emotional, that is a very antiquated backwoods mentality of what a man is. Every human being has a very masculine side and they have a feminine side. I had a client tell me this. He grew up in one of these homes where emotions were just a no-go in the house. And he said, Arica, I grew up with the concept of there's no crying in baseball. Did you ever see the movie with Tom Hanks and Madonna and Rosie O'Donnell? I forget A League of Their Own. What is it called? It's the baseball movie where Tom Hanks is coaching these women and the girls start crying. And Tom Hanks puts his hand on his hip and he goes, there's no crying in baseball. And so my client said that was the mentality of his home, was there's just no crying, there's no emotions, which is a very antiquated way of masculinity. And I said, that's bullshit. And your dad lied to you. And he said, what? And I said, if I come and I take a ball and I've got a fast pitch at 95 miles per hour and I throw a fastball straight at your nuts, guess what, mother effer? There is crying in baseball. So the old mentality of masculinity, it's really made men detached. It's made them very robotic. It's only made them analytical. It's completely severed them from their heart, which is the life spring of life, which is a huge injustice to men. And it's why I am here and why I do what I do, is to be an advocate for men and to tell them that they have a right to their emotions, they have a right to their heart, and it's up to them to start courageously speaking from those places. That's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do. And that's how I feel about masculinity and why bad boyism is associated with a masculine, because it's associated with a very old, antiquated paradigm of masculinity that is no longer serving us collectively, and it's no longer supporting men. Listen, corona's happened, everything's going off in the world. Do you think that there are men who are afraid in the world right now? Absolutely. And for those men to not have the right to be able to say, this scares me, and they're just going to stonewall and be indifferent and not have any emotions, is bullshit. That is actually a lack of courage, which is not masculine. And on that, I'm going to wrap things up. So don't forget, guys, make sure that you check out the Compliments Bible. Ashk says, Arica does funny guy is less masculine in women's eyes. Oh, I don't think so. Everyone loves a funny guy. Ham I Am says, and Ninja Wolf answered, wow, Ninja Wolf, you are on it. He says, how old are you? You look 28. Wow, thank you. I am 41. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Guys, I love you so much. I'm so glad that you're here. I get so excited that I get to do this. I get so excited that I get to serve and support your heart. So if you ever want to know more about my work, make sure that you go to attractandseduceher.com. That's where you can find a lot of all the things that I do to help support you guys. Be sure and check it out, or you can always go to aricaangelo.com, and that will also lead you to the attractandseduceher.com site. So guys, listen, you have what it takes. Remember it, let it be stuck in your mind. You have what it takes. And in this very moment, I don't give a damn what's going on in the planet. I don't care how messed up things are in your life. I don't care how I do care how lonely you feel. But know this, baby doll, that no matter what's going on in your world, that you are loved, that the essence of who you are is made of love. And you, my darling, are so loved. If you were here right now, I'd squeeze you and I'd not let you go. I just wouldn't let you go. I'd kiss that little head of yours, this one, and I just wouldn't let you go. I would not. So you have what it takes. And you are deeply loved and you matter. All right, guys, I will see you in my next live Q&A. I have another video that I shot in Italy, and it comes out this Sunday. I'm at the beach, so make sure that you watch that video this Sunday. You guys take care. Love you guys. Bye.